Kia ora everyone and welcome to my video. Thank you for having Smoko with me. Now, just recently I happened to stumble upon one of Broken Games HD's videos, and in this particular video he goes on to talk about hatred and its and its adults only restricted rating. Now this was funny to me because obviously I've seen the gameplay trailer of Hatred, and I already knew, as soon as, especially if you've seen the trailer, you know what I'm talking about. It looks like an R18 game anyway, so I was wondering um, why was Broken Games, making a video about this? I thought, it's pretty obvious, right? The violence and the language, of course it's going to be of course it's going to be adults only. But it wasn't until he said that if a game is rated adults only, not R18. Okay, so there's a difference. So you've got R18 games, and then the rating after R18, you've got adults only. And it's the adults only rated games are the only games that Sony, Microsoft and Nintendo will not publish on their consoles, which I did not know. That was a first. Out of all of the games that I've played, I didn't realize that there was another rating score above R18. I thought once it hits, I thought once a game hits R18, like that's the top. Like there is no higher rating other than R18, but apparently I was wrong. I had no idea that this rating, this adults only rating existed anyways. Now, even though what I have just said does not make any sense whatsoever, like I'm the one who said it and I don't even know what I've just said, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's fair though. Sony, Microsoft and Nintendo have the right, if they want to, not publish a game on their consoles. If they want to publish Hatred on their consoles, then they are allowed to. Of course, that's their console. But if they choose not to sell Hatred on their consoles, then they don't have to. If they don't want to, that's pretty much it. It's pretty sucky, which it is. It stinks. But at the same time, it's it is their consoles. They can do whatever the hell they want to do, even if it doesn't make any sense. Hey, even if logic is not present, yeah. And with the power of technology and Google, I wanted to have a look. I wanted to see some articles on this. So the first one that I clicked on to just happened to be an article by Gamestop, and the title for their article reads "Hatred Rated Adults Only in North America." So I was thinking, oh, okay, so is it only in North America, or is it just like actual US America, like states? Is it every state in America, or is it just North? So then again, with the power of technology and Google and Wikipedia, I looked up the ESRB, and and in this piece of information, it states that ESRB is a self-regulatory organization that assigns age and content ratings. Okay, yes, we all know that. And they're responsible for online privacy principles for computer and video games in United States and Canada. There, okay, so the ESRB does the age ratings for the United States and Canada, or at least that's what Wikipedia reckons. but GameStop is saying in North America, okay, you know, take that as you will. But anyways, the article itself goes on to read, hatred in red lettering. Hatred. The controversial massacre simulator has received an adults-only rating from the Entertainment Software Rating Board, the organization that rates games in North America / United States / Canada. Again, take it as you will. Whether it be just North America or not, who knows. Now, one of the developers from Destructive Creations said on its game's official forum that, and I quote, "Well, I'm not quite convinced why Hatred got the AO rating while it lacks any sexual content, but it's still some kind of achievement to have the second game in history getting AO rating for violence and harsh language only." He goes on to say, even if this violence isn't really that bad and this harsh language is not overused, the guy from ESRB told me it's all about the context, which people they're testing gameplay video on will see. Ah, okay, so now it's the context that the ESRB are worried about. So, and the context is that in Hatred you play as a mass murdering killer who kills innocent people, who goes on a rampage and kills people. That's pretty much um, the black and white of Hatred. Like, yeah, okay, that's as black and white as you can get it. And I think simply for that, it's getting the AO rating. Whereas if in Hatred you were a mass murdering bunny rabbit killer and the aim of the game was to kill bunnies, would the game still be getting an AO rating? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, hey, but in this game you kill innocent people. That's why there is this whole big controversy, and I think that's why the ESRB are giving Hatred an AO rating rather than a 18 plus rating or 16 plus, or you know, which most games are, like The Last of Us. As you can see, its rating is R18 and it says violence and horror, you know. And then you've got uh, where else is it, Watch Dogs, which is another R18, and this game contains violence, offensive language, drug use, and sex scenes, which is so Watch Dogs has sexual content in it and has sex scenes, but Watch Dogs is rated 18. So why is Hatred, which is a game which the developer says lacks any sexual content, how come Hatred that has no sexual content is getting the AO rating, but a game like Watch Dogs, which has sex scenes in it, is restricted 18? And I'm sure that a Grand Theft Auto also has not only harsh violence and language, but also has sexual content. You know, all of its games actually, like all of um, the Grand Theft Autos has some sexual content here and there in the game, and yet that can still be published, and even the Grand Theft Auto games get the R18, not the AO. So you know, I understand where the Destructive Creations developer is saying. Now, as I continue to read up on the so-called Entertainment Software Rating Board, which I'll put the link in the description box, I came across a very interesting piece of information that says here, hang on, I'm going to read it to you guys now. Now listen very carefully. Okay, so the ESRB has still faced criticism from politicians and other watchdogs groups, other watchdog groups, for the structure of its operations, particularly in the wake of a 2005 incident that surrounded the organization's handling of hidden, I'll say it again, hidden with exclamation marks, objectionable content in the game which could be accessed using a user-created modification. In particular, critics have assessed that the ESRB has a conflict of interest because of its lies to the video game industry, and that the organization does not rate certain games, particularly the Grand Theft Auto series. I'm going to read that again. Because of its ties to the video game industry, and that the organization does not rate certain games, particularly the Grand Theft Auto series, harshly enough for their violent or sexual content in order to protect their commercial viability. Entertainment Software Rating Board, you bastards. So, have you ever wondered why Grand Theft Auto has harsh violence, harsh language, and contains drug use as well as uh, sexual content? Have you ever wondered why Grand Theft Auto has not received the AO rating as of late? Or has never received it at all? All of its games has pretty much everything, from coarse language to sexual content, as in you can grab a hooker and then have sex with the hooker and then afterwards kill the hooker and then grab its money, and yet the game has not been given an AO rating. But Hatred, which does not contain any sexual content whatsoever, just hardcore violence and coarse language, and yet that game gets the AO rating and not the restricted 18 which it should be getting, which I thought it would be getting anyways, but it's not. And why that is, and why Hatred is getting the AO rating, is simply because you are the bad guy, and your objective as the bad guy in this game is to kill innocent civilians. That's it. That's it. And that is all that it comes down to, my gaming brothers and gaming sisters. Favoritism. That is because of that reason. That is why Grand Theft Auto will not be getting the AO rating, and will not ever be getting the AO rating. It's simply because the ESRB favorites the Grand Theft Auto franchise. And it's for that very same reason is why Hatred will not be coming to these next-gen consoles, which, what I heard, Hatred was actually a PC-only game anyways. Yeah, or at least that's what I heard. But in saying that, any future release, that's if Destructive Creations did decide to maybe one day they wanted to bring Hatred to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. They can't anyways because it's, got the AO rating, ta-da. Yeah. But I mean, hell, at the end of the day, Sony, Microsoft and Nintendo have the right, or in my opinion, they have the right to publish and to not publish any game that they want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, any game they want to, that's fair. It's their system, it's their console, whatever, as long as it's fair. Hey, as long as their restrictions are reasonable. Same thing with the entertainment software rating board. Like they're cool too. It's cool that they have a system where all games must go through this rating system in order for their game to be published on these consoles. But again, uh, it has to be fair and reasonable, which Hatred just happens to this game just happens to be given the short end of the stick, simply because in this game, Hatred, you play as the bad guy, again, who kills innocent people. That's it. That's all. And that's why this game has been given the AO rating. Nothing else. It's not too violent, because I've seen, heaps of, I mean, Mortal Kombat is, in my opinion, way more violent than Hatred. Hatred, what's in Hatred I've already seen before. Hey, all of the violence in Hatred I've already seen before. Mortal Kombat, on the other hand, like, that's different. Like, I believe that one is way more violent. Way more violent. You've got the person's eyes that explode out of their heads, or their heads get chopped off, or their skeleton. Again, favoritism. The one flaw that is in the ESRB, they suffer from favoritism and unfairness. Anyways, that's my little opinion. That's all I have to say anyways in regards to this whole Hatred thing. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up. If you did not, hit the thumbs down. This is me. I'm done. I'll catch you guys up.